Hello guys, in this video we'll learn about an advanced way of using Redux. This is a two-part video. First part will be basic setup of Redux and the concept of Redux, and the second part will be advanced concept of Redux and using asynchronous action to integrate with API, showing loading state based on the API call, and much more. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why Redux. A simple answer for this is the most used and reliable state management service for JavaScript. And you can manage a master state and don't need to involve another component to update state of another component of a component tree. Now, the question will be, what's the way of using Redux? We dispatch an action and it goes to the reducer. Then it updates the state based on the action, and then the state's update can used by another component. Feels complicated? Don't worry. Let's think. You are in a library. You ask a librarian to give you the book. This is the action. Then the librarian update who takes the book in the register. This is how the reducer function works and updates states. Then you get the book. This is the state sent to the component. Now it's simple, right? Let's get into coding. Before everything, we need to install two packages, Redux and react-redux. You can use this command to install those packages. And here is the folder structure you should have. A store. Inside the store, there is three folders: action, reducer, and types. Action to store all the actions you need to use in this project. Reducer for all those reducer functions, and types for all those action types. And there is two files. One is Redux wrapper and another is root reducer. Root reducer to combine all the reducer in a single reducer, and Redux wrapper to set up your store and use the provider provided by the react-redux package to wrap the whole component and pass the store to access by another component in the component tree. And in action, there is a file name .action.js, or in my project, this is task.actions.js. Now in types, there is taskaction.types.js. In reducer, there is task.reducer.js. I prefer this naming convention, but you can also write any name.js. In types, we have to export an object that has a key value pair of the action types. First, we need to import the action type. Then we need to export an action function that may or may not take an argument of data or payload. Then it returns an object with type and payload. Type, the action type, and payload, the data needs to be updated on the state. And now the reducer. There is an initial state and a function that takes two arguments, state, which is initialized by the initial state, and an action, which will be passed as an argument. Now switch the action types, and based on the action type we will perform action. For now, we return states for the default case. As I told earlier, the root reducer is to combine all the reducer in our reducer folder. So first we import the combine reducer from Redux, then we import our reducer from our reducer file. Then in the combine reducer function, we pass a key value pair with key to access the states and the reducer function as the value, and now export it default. For Redux wrapper, first create a functional component and then import create store method from Redux and provider component from react-redux and our root reducer. Now create a store with the root reducer, and now in the Redux wrapper component, we take our props and we wrap our children with our provider. In provider, as a props we pass store. Finally, everything is ready. We need to wrap our app component or all the component inside our app component by our Redux wrapper. Finally, we have set up our Redux. Now let's take it into action. For that, in our to-do input.js in this project, when the button click, we need to dispatch an action. For that, in react-redux, we have a hook of use dispatch and we need to import our action. So let's import it. Now create our dispatcher. Now for the button click, let's dispatch our action, and we have dispatched our action. And now we need to set up our reducer to update the state based on this action. For this, in our reducer file, we have another case. In our reducer, based on the case create a task, we updated the state of task list with all the previous tasks and our payload passed by the action. As the state is updated, how can we get the access to these states? For that, let's go in the to-do list.js file. And in the to-do list.js file, we have to import useSelectorHook from react-redux. Now we need to get our state. In useSelectorHook, we pass a function that takes argument the state. This state is the master state and it returns our needed state. This task is the key what we have provided in our root reducer file for the task reducer function. In our task reducer function, we have a task list state and now we map the state and render all the tasks present in it. Now, as everything is ready, let's check it is working or not, and it is ready. In the next video, we will set up an action that calls an API, and until the API responds, we render a loading state. And then we update our state after getting the data from the API. And in that video, we will learn asynchronous action. Subscribe to get updated and like for the YouTube algorithm so that others can get access to this video. Bye for now. Let's see in the next video.